Hey there, Rollers and other wonderful viewers out there. I'm Anthony, and today is going to be the start of a new series that we're doing that's going to showcase not only Custom Heroclix, but as well as teams that are going to utilize Custom Heroclix that have been created by myself, John, and Mike. Before we get started, I want to give a special shout out to HC Tools for creating a website that allows you to go ahead and create your own Custom Heroclix dials as well as cards. Granted, the cards are a little bit dated, but they still are very effective for the use of creating your own Custom Heroclix. So, if you'd ever like to get into creating your own Custom Heroclix figures, I'd highly recommend checking out that site. So to make these videos as short and sweet as possible, I'm kind of just going to give the origin of some of these characters and give a brief overview of their cards and how they can be effective in combat. So this first figure that I'm showcasing here is actually the first Heroclix I've ever created, and is a Marvel character I came up with a long time ago when I got sick and tired of the way that Marvel was treating Eddie Brock, Venom, and just the other symbiotes in general. Aiden Darrow, also known as Ruin. His origin story takes place around the time that Matt Gargan had the Venom symbiote, and Eddie Brock had first just become Anti-Venom. So, for anybody familiar with the comic, as the two fought, Anti-Venom was actually able to kind of peel away the Venom symbiote from Matt Gargan, but the way it was written is the actual Anti-Venom cure caused a schism, splitting the symbiote slightly, which is why a piece of it ended up following Aiden as he went on his mission, attaching to him. So I won't bog you down with too many details, but I'll probably give a greater showcase of his backstory at a later time. But the way this was created is I actually took a Scarlet Spider figure and went ahead and just repainted it, as well as used the green stuff to go ahead and mold and create the shoulder spikes that you see. And Ruin is definitely more of a brawling type character. So to read off of his card, his keywords are Brute as well as Spider-Man family due to his backstory tying into Spider-Man later on. He has the improved movement ability Determined, which allows him to bypass different elevations, hindering movement, and even other characters, which is not uncommon for Spider-Man-like figures or even some other symbiotes for 120 points. His first trait is the perks of fully bonding. As I mentioned before with the backstory, unlike most people who end up becoming hosts of symbiotes, it's very rare that any of them are crazy enough to fully bond. So going in line with something similar to the alien symbiote trait, Ruin can use shape change, but because the fully bonding process can also use toughness. Ruin's other trait is ensnaring tendrils. When Ruin hits, after actions resolve, you may attach his tendril marker to a target, removing it from anywhere else. That character with the tendril marker can't move without breaking away and can't automatically break away. Other characters don't have to break away from that character. When that character successfully breaks away, remove the tendril marker. His first movement ability is with Reckless Abandon, which is just your run-of-the-mill charge. So he can go ahead and move up to 5 spaces, and then attack. How come I can't roll that good in a normal game? His special movement ability is Unstoppable Rage, which allows Ruin to use Charge as well as Flurry. So same as before, move up to your 5, then roll for attack not once, that probably would have been a miss, but twice. Ruin's first attack ability is Learn to Trick or Two, which is Precision Strike. So, when you're in an opportunity to where you can attack, if the person has super senses, they no longer succeed on a 5 or a 6, they now need a 6 in order to succeed on their evasion. And you're guaranteed to do at least 1 damage. Following that is This Is Going to Hurt, which is Blades Claw's Fangs. So upon a successful attack, you roll for Blades Claw's Fangs, and take the result. And at least with the new rules, if you are unfortunate to roll a 1, you can only go 1 below your printed value for damage. As for defensive abilities, you have, of course, the before-mentioned traded shape change. So, wow, that was just awful. And if your shape change failed like mine just did, you have your first defensive ability, Saw That Coming, which is Super Senses. And for his other defensive ability, he has I've Had Worse, which is Regeneration. Now, aside from Charge and Flurry, it's his defensive abilities that really kind of put him in that kind of brawler, scrapper territory, with his first one being Adapt, Overcome, Exploit Weakness, which is beautiful considering how many characters these days have toughness, invulnerability, or impervious. And then his final damage ability is Seething Anger, which is Battle Fury. So anybody you're going against can kiss their shape change bye-bye, and you don't need to worry about somebody trying to incapacitate you or mind controlling your character. Granted, you will lose out on your ranged attack, but that's not really the focus of this character anyways. And then what I'm also going to do is kind of show off the dial. So right off the bat, he's going to be 7 clicks deep, which is pretty good for a 120 point figure. He has the before mentioned improved movement, as well as traits built in. He has impervious to go ahead and allow him to continue the fight in a range of 4, but again, that's not really his main priority, that's just a nice little add-in. For people wondering about the team ability that's featured on the dial, let's see if I can get it on there, it's kind of hard to see. And that is the symbiote team ability. It is more or less your poor man's version of Mystics. When an opponent attacks a character with the symbiote team ability, that opposing figure takes 1 penetrating damage as long as they are within the character's range, a minimum of 1. So as you can see here, you have the first click, which is going to be a 9 in movement, 11 in attack, 18 in defense, and 3 in damage. Second click being 9 in movement, 10 in attack, 17 in defense, 3 in damage. The third click, which is going to be 9 in movement, 10 in attack, 17 in defense, and 3 in damage. The fourth click is 8 in movement, 9 in attack, 16 in defense, and 2 in damage. The fifth click, which is 9 in movement, 11 in attack, 18 in defense, 3 in damage. The sixth click is 8 in movement, 10 in attack, 17 in defense, and 2 in damage. And the final seventh click, 8 in movement, 9 in attack, 16 in defense, and 2 in damage. Now, as you can see here, the build on this is actually kind of awkward. Having play tested, I could see the error, considering most enemies hit for about 3 damage or can penetrate to do about 3 damage. So more often than not, I've been knocked onto my 4th dial, which as you can see is his absolutely worst dial. Because the way his character kind of works is just like his personality. He's a good brawler at first, can really get in there and do some damage, but then he kind of gets knocked to where he's kind of weak, and that's when he rages and gets his kind of second wind. So I think I've rambled on long enough and pretty much covered everything there is to know about this custom figure ruin. If I've missed anything, please let me know down in the comments below. Also, let me know what you thought of this figure. Would you see yourself ever using this figure? And if so, what team would you use him as a part of? I thank you for your time. Of course, this isn't the first video. Again, you're going to see definitely a lot more custom figures as well as teams that utilize custom figures, not only from myself, but from Mike and John in the near future. We might try and change things up a little bit. I don't know if this got a little too long or if I got a little too wordy or if it was just a little too much information to kind of all digest at once. But again, you know what? This is a work in progress, and that's why feedback from all of you wonderful viewers and rollers is what helps us out best. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, subscribe, as well as ding that bell to be notified of future videos. Also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and all the other social media we have listed down below. Feel free to join our Discord and discuss Heroclix, custom figures, meta, and all that other good stuff. We also stream live from time to time, whether it be video games or board games, so that's definitely something you should check out, and be sure to follow us. And last but not least, if you'd like to help our channel grow, be sure to head over to our Patreon and become a patron today.